Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in KITZUR, HILCHOS, SHABBOS, when the laws of bishul of cooking, and he says, Toledes eish, a byproduct, so to speak, of fire. What does that mean? Lo bavad bishul be'eish atzmai asr. Not only cooking with fire itself is something the Torah says is asr. Alagam masal levashal yidei toledes eish, even to use the byproduct of fire, that's also going to be an issue. KITZUR, what's the case? Let's say you heated up a piece of metal with fire, and then after you remove the metal from the fire, you put a pot on that burning piece of metal, and then the food that was inside cooked, chayiv, you're going to be obligated for transgressing. So if you have boiling water, you put some kind of food product into the boiling water and it cooks, even on that, you're going to be chayiv. There's no difference between the fire itself or the byproduct of the fire. Either way, you're going to be held accountable for bishul, for cooking. Next little chapter, Chama b'toladata, the sun and its byproducts. In reality, you're allowed to cook on Shabbos from the heat of the sun. If you leave an egg in the sun, and it cooks, no problem. Aval b'toledes chama, when it comes to the byproduct of the sun, if you left an egg in the sand, and that sand was heated up by the sun, even though that according to the Torah, there's such a thing would be permissible, the Rabbanan came along and they made a decree, and they said you cannot do this. Why? The reason is mishum it's very likely that a person can make a mistake between the byproduct of the fire and the byproduct of the sun. Since we see that the sand heated up, and that would be permissible, or kol davar acher, anything heated up because of the sun, we don't recognize where that heat is coming from. Maybe it came from the fire, maybe it came from the sun, maybe it came from the fire. So people will make a mistake, and they will think that if you could use for example, the sand that was heated up by the sun to cook your food, they'll think they could use the metal or the sand that was heated up by the fire, heat up your food as well, and therefore they made a gezerah that you cannot use the tolda, you cannot use the byproduct of the sun. And lastly, writes, Bamash Shaykh Bishul, what types of food are actually shaykh, which are within the realm of cooking. Not every type of food is it possible for cooking. Only those things that get improved through the cooking process. But things that don't get improved at all through cooking, for example, fruits which taste very good without being cooked. According to the Torah, there's no prohibition of cooking. When we call malkoim, nevertheless, sometimes there is a prohibition with the Rabbanan on a rabbinical level because you are making some kind of improvement, so you want the apple cooked, you want this one cooked, and therefore that's going to be a problem. When it comes to water, even though that you can drink water without heating it up and cooking it, if you ended up cooking water on Shabbos, you also transgressed. The reason is because you can tell the difference between the water that was boiled and cooked and the water that is just still uncooked water. And even though that it doesn't need to be cooked, but it's considered to be an improvement in the water as a result of the cooking process, and therefore it's going to be usher to cook. Have a wonderful day.